Okay, so welcome to the second half of episode 2. Every episode's gonna have 2 parts to it now, until further notice. Especially since I'm gonna try to go through like the overall plot. Yeah, I need a little bit longer than that, than the 10 minutes that I get from my camera, so moving along, I ended with the third episode last time, so with the fourth episode of the second season, it picks off with Nick. Him having, spied on Raquel and her new date last time. So after after catching a glimpse of and confirming that she really did go on a date, Nick's all moping around. And so, since Abby tagged along last time, she's like she's trying to help him out and, making sure he doesn't go crazy or something. So Nick, after seeing that, see what happens is, he sees he sees Raquel's date, and he finds that they're pretty similar in looks and everything, aside from a few things. So he's like, was it me? Was it his fault that? What was he like? What was he doing wrong? So he decides that he wants to make a change. He wants to be more like her new alleged boyfriend. So he decides, I'm gonna start losing weight. I'm gonna change my lifestyle. So Abby decides, if you really want to go through with this, I have a friend who's a personal trainer. He can help you out if you really want to, change your life. So that's when Nick decides he's gonna change, and the song that goes with it is appropriately "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson. The fifth episode goes picks up with Nat again at the summer camp along with Carrie, as they're still hanging out with the high schoolers. So they're just going along there. Nat's learning more about Carrie, who she still doesn't know is going back. But you find out that through somehow that Jim and Nat's younger sister, Tiny, who obviously is going to be a main character later on, like I said, has tracked her down and found her and is trying to, change her mind about leaving. And this is the episode where after Carrie I guess technically eavesdrops on Jim trying to coerce her to come back. That's when Carrie finds out that she's like, that's when Nat finds out, that Carrie is supposed to be her roommate and all this. So Carrie, tag teams and says, you really should go back. It's not, they're all trying to convince her that she's not in college for naught. She is pursuing a degree that can help her, even if it doesn't seem like it. You find out that, I think you find in the first episode, I should say, that Nat is actually pursuing a degree in music. She wants to be she wants to be a band director in life, and so they're trying to reassure her that it's not that dumb. Obviously it's kind of different, but it's still something. So the song that goes with that, funny enough, if you've ever watched How I Met Your Mother, is I'm Gonna Beat 500 Miles by the Proclaimers. It's just because, Jim is doing all this to find, driving all this way to find Nat and trying to bring her back. It also does set up the fact that, the weird fact that Jim did bring along Tiny, who came along because she's the only one that knew that Nat was leaving and did leave. And so it sets up something later on you'll see. And so, gosh, I might need to make 3 parts. The 6th episode is also with Nat, and it picks up they're all at summer camp, and they decide to stay one more day before they go back. They finally convince her. They all finally convince Nat to go back to college and to finish her degree. And Carrie says goodbye to her sister, and they all go back. Like I said, And the song that goes with that is Who Says You Can't Go Home by Bon Jovi. The 7th episode, it goes to the mindset of Nick. As he's changing, trying to change his life, he finds out that there's a party being held for like incoming freshmen that Raquel's going to. So Abby, also also going to the parties as she's an incoming freshman as well, decides to tell Nick that maybe he should go and try to try to dress up nice to see if Raquel gets jealous, see if that does anything to spark her interest back into Nick. And as much as I wanted to do Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison, I decided to use the song Sharp Dressed Man by ZZ Top. And so that's basically the whole chapter. That's him trying to impress her at the party. The 8th episode is also through the eyes of Nick, and that's his flashback episode, where after things don't work out at the party, nothing really goes on with that. Abby posed the question. She's like, "Why are you?" She asks why Nick's so sure that he has to get Raquel back, and so Nick starts to explain about the story between how he met Raquel when they were in elementary after Jim leaves, how he meets her and tries to be that hole that Raquel had in her heart after Jim leaves to go to LA. And so so that's just Nick explaining, like, he's like, I'm so sure of this that like I said, it just explores like a little bit of like how they met and all that. I want to say that I'm also going to make it so that it's not just one time, like every other person's flashback. It's like, like with Nat's, it's like this is just in high school, so was Bella's, and then Jim's was when they were in the summer of that 4th grade, I want to say. And so that's Nick's flashback episodes deal with him meeting Raquel in 5th grade or whenever in elementary, but it also like leads up to like them in middle school, them in high school, and it just expands on how good of a relationship they really have. So it spans multiple years, basically, is what I'm saying. And pressed on time, I'm gonna make a 3rd part, kind of. Well, not kind of. I am gonna make a 3rd part to finish up the year, because I still have the other half of season 2. I'll try to get to that as soon as I can, and be on the lookout for all 3 episodes. Like I said, they'll all be at the same time.